So that's really slowed down the economy a lot. But then you have a lot of people that had fixed rates when the rates were really low. They're coming out in 6 months or so, so they're stressing. So right now there's just a lot of fear in the market.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing is that more and more people, instead of going on variable rates, they're going on fixed rates.
But they don't know how long to fix those rates for.
This is really important part, which you said then, when they're coming off these fixed mortgages, where we know for historically we've enjoyed almost 15 years of relatively cheap lending, cheap money, and we're seeing that coming to an end. So as you said, the squaremongering is a lot. What would you say to someone, especially listening now, their mortgage is coming up for renewal? What should there be their steps to assess that?
Well, I would say start to prepare for a mortgage. I tell people 6 months before you're ready to either buy your first home, or if you're going to remortgage, always start preparing. So look at your credit file, make sure everything is clean, everything is tidy. Make sure that you manage your spending, because affordability is a big thing, because banks, what they do now, and they have done since the crash, is something called stress testing.
Yes.
So they're not just looking about can you afford it now, but they're trying to evaluate, well, if you'll be able to afford it as rates go up.
Yeah.
So,
stress test.
So what entails in a stress test?
So what they're going to look at is what the interest rate is currently. When you come off your rate, what the standard variable rate would be, and usually about 2% above that. So there's quite a bandwidth that they're going to be looking at. But one of the things that I did, so like as a career, I've been in banking for 30 years. I've done everything from collections to wealth management. And when I was doing collections for a really large bank, I won't say who it is, I managed a pre-litigations team. So we were the team that would do that last ditch effort to keep someone in their home. Because contrary to what people believe, banks don't want to take your home.
Absolutely.
They don't want, it feels that way because it's your home, but they don't want to take your home. And my department would go in there and see if there's anything else that we could do. But what we were able to prove in that time is that a lot of banks, these were the days, this was when I first made my first trip back to England. These were the days where they used to do 110% mortgages.
Wow,
So,
those days are completely gone.
So it's almost they're giving you money to buy your home, plus
and put some money in your pocket.
Yes.
and decorate your home.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I miss those days.
I know.
So as the market shifted, it then meant that people couldn't afford it. They had people going into negative equity. So if you're preparing to buy a home, we want to make sure and look at your budget. The banks are all
Automatically going to do some stress testing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, you've covered even what I was going to say, the factors, what banks would take into consideration. What would you say to someone? What would be the right mortgage, I guess, for their specific needs and circumstances?
Yeah. So I ask questions. So I always make sure that I deal with each individual as an individual, because, you know, a lot of my clients work for the big tech companies. So, you know, it's your Facebooks, your Googles, etc. But a lot of these people, actually, it's surprising, they're buying below their budget, if that makes sense. So I tell people, look at your budget. Don't worry about what the news is saying. Don't worry what your cousin said or what your friend said. Look at your budget and speak to someone who's going to talk to you as an individual. Speak to someone who doesn't have a hidden agenda, because I think one of the biggest factors is people go on the internet and get information, and they speak to someone, and if they're not speaking to the right person, they're not going to get the best information for them. So I would just advise people, make sure that the person you're speaking to knows you, knows your circumstances and what your goals are, and make sure that they're going to do what's best by you.